Welcome to another JournalNow.com high school football video. I'm Joe Serrera, and I am joined today by North Davidson Black Knights head football coach Brian Flynn. Brian, thank you for joining us.
Joe, like always, thanks for having me.
Friday night at home, Salisbury, another team from the Central Carolina 2A Conference, just like Oak Grove last week that you're playing again. Is this starting to feel like a conference tournament?
Yeah, definitely, Joe. My coaches and I, we were joking about that. It's almost like a conference tournament, like you just said. Playing back-to-back weeks of an in-conference opponent that, we've seen earlier in the year. Luckily, it's not like the Oak Grove game last week where it was, twice in 3 weeks. That was pretty nerve-wracking and tough to deal with. But it's been since March since we've seen Salisbury, so it's been a little bit. But yeah, it says a lot about our conference, man. I mean, it really does. When the brackets came out, we knew that this could be a possibility. But we're tickled to death to be hosting them for a regional final.
That game, as you said, was back in March on the 19th. You guys with a 7-point win. How much have they changed, the Hornets, since then? And how much has your team grown since then?
Well, we definitely, as a team, have grown. We've again, that was early on, like you said, and we were still trying to figure things out. We still hadn't had many practices together, from especially those guys coming from basketball. So, we've just gotten better in that aspect of just getting more reps. And, they're a little bit different, offensively now with they run through their quarterback, Vance Honeycutt, tremendously good player. And they're doing more things with him, like more design runs. Where in the past or back in March when we were preparing for them and played in was more of him just kind of doing things on his own. So, you just got to, have it to prepare for a dual threat guy that can beat you with his arm and legs is tough. And then, of course, defensively, man, they're big, fast, strong, physical, athletic. They just fly around the place. And then now you got Jalen Walker. He's not clubbed up anymore. So right. He's got two hands now, just one.
Yeah, and even with one, he's a pretty darn good football player, just based on the teams that have been recruiting him. So yeah, he's big time. How do you game plan for somebody like him and for a run heavy offense like that? How do you prepare for those guys?
Well, we expect that, and just like the first time they moved Jalen around a little bit, we've seen it on film, based on the film that we broke down. They're still doing that. So we got to know offensively from the get-go where he is every single snap. We cannot have a snap where we don't know where he's lined up at since they move him around. So that's going to be really important. And at the end of the day, I think that's going to be – we know what we want to do. So there's going to offensively, obviously, there's going to be a lot of in-game adjustments with when dealing with him. And, it's going to be a tough task, that's for sure.
Who's playing well for your team right now? A lot of guys are because you're in a regional final, but Elk Grove game last weekend in general.
Well, JaMarr is the first one that pops in my head. He had a pick six defensively last week, and then offensively, he's taking advantage of getting the matchups. Look, I mean, JaMarr is a good player. We would want him with the ball a ton, but we take what the defenses give us, and a lot of times he's being double and triple teamed. And so we don't want to force the issue. But last week he had some one-on-one matchups that he took advantage of. And, we expect the same this week in making those plays. And of course, Tedrick Jenkins, who's got to get him the ball, he's been doing a good job of getting him the ball and spreading it out to other guys and tucking the ball away and running and hurting defenses with his legs when things break down. And, defensively, we got to continue to play well. We played well all year. Jalen Walser, Tanner Jordan, they kind of leading that attack along with Darian Green. And our front seven's got a big task this Friday against a really big offensive line in Salisbury.
You guys were in the state championship game in 2018 against Shelby. I know you've got some guys back from that group, Jamari and your kicker, JaMarr. Tell us a little bit about some of the guys who are still around from that team.
Yeah, like you said, JaMarr, sophomore, he had several catches in that game, and Jake Marion, he was our full-time kicker and punter at that time as a young buck, as a sophomore. We've had I had several guys, Darian, Jaylen, that I called up for the playoff roster from the JV team that year. So yeah, we've got a ton of guys that have got that experience. And like Jamarian, this is Jamarian's third regional final in his career, which is pretty remarkable. He as a freshman played at East Duplin back in 2017.
Mm-hmm. What would it mean to your guys, the ones who've been there before, and the rest of your team to come away with a win on Friday night and go back to a state championship game?
Oh, Joe, I mean, it would mean the world. Just like us and everybody else around this state, we've been through a lot. Any coach of any sport, in my opinion, obviously it's been a lot, just because there was no handbook, no manuscript of how to handle what happened. And I think of those seniors who did a tremendous job. Couldn't be more proud of them, of when everything was going on, and they kind of took lead when us coaches couldn't get around our guys, and they rallied the troops, and won it for them. But all those guys, our numbers are a little down because of the pandemic, and just like everybody else's. And those 40 plus guys that we have, they've been through a lot. So it would mean so much for us as coaches, for those guys to get that opportunity.
Well, it sounds good. We wish you guys luck on Friday night at home against Salisbury, and hope to be seeing you play next week over in the Triangle for state championship.
Me too, Joe. Appreciate you.
Thank you.